A little better. Getting cleaned up. So I wanted to talk about the practicalities of what the program, what we're doing, and the gap that we're trying to fill, and why it's a nonprofit. I think people don't fully understand what's happening in regards to what we've created, the gap that we're covering. So the best way to explain the problem that we're solving is peer response. Peer response would be how the people around you respond to a situation that you're either in or that you know someone that's in, whether that's a mental state, physical threat state, whatever it is. But the peer response is probably one of the biggest gaps in mental health for multiple reasons. One, there's no infrastructure. Two, there's no training for signals, early recognition, pattern recognition, and then a general understanding of what resources a community is able to offer, what those resources are able to do, on top of professional support, on top of licensed support. So there's a lot of different avenues that can be taken when someone's in hardship. The first person that typically catches wind of someone that is suicidal, someone that is fighting distress, hardship, loss, loss of identity, loss of work. It doesn't have to be fully extreme, but we're just talking there is going to be a massive shift in what's happening. And that's that hardship, that's that gap, because a lot of people aren't always fully prepared for those situations, whether that's from childhood development or that's from environments or the culture, whatever it may be. There's ways to offer the community collective resources. But the peer doesn't fully understand how to handle someone that is for instance, a PTSD-like response. Your general public does not know how to handle that or recognize it properly. And then you look at other situations, right? Whether that's a sudden change in behavior, a withdrawal, maybe they start selling off all their items, get rid of their stuff. There's a whole different types of signs and signals that shows that something's serious, something's happening. And that peer response level, that gap is satisfying the need for training, education, certifications, infrastructure, deployment, accessibility, pathways, oversight. So this is going to allow a lot of those things to take root. It's going to allow communities to respond potentially to a crisis situation. Now, we're not diagnosing, we're not treating, we're not a crisis intervention team. We are simply creating access points into the Light Rain peer response system. Light Rain peer response system is the solution to the gap in peer response. Light Rain is the educational certification, curriculum, ongoing education, and then peer response system is the deployment methods and the resources So what ends up happening is the group enters through light rain, through early recognition training. This opens up the access to peer response systems. And through light rain, they'll be able to do ongoing education, videos, stories, people that are involved, people that have submitted their stories anonymously, or through podcasts that we might end up putting together, YouTubes. The goal is to utilize the community and the stories of the people around us to inspire each other, to endorse care, to use the light rain system, right, in order to provide resources at the peer level, the deployment of them. Now, there's different layers to this to make it, to ensure that the quality of that output is appropriate. And there's a lot of, layers of legalities and contracts, and to make sure that the flow of that business is running properly. And that's what we've been working on. And that's what I have been signing contracts for operating between the foundation and light rain and peer response systems, and then as well as with our partners, to make sure that all the bounds are met. We dot our I's and cross our T's, dot our I's. But it's exciting. But peer response is the gap, right? It's not everybody needs a counselor. Not everyone needs a therapist. Not everybody needs peer groups. Sometimes we just need to hear a story. Sometimes we just need to know that it's available. And that's what we do. We create a support system available early, right? And then through that entire operation, we then launch a resilience education for youth. And then we launch our signature events, the one that we're currently building in Florida, and working closely with Ben Castman on as we're touching ground and speaking with key people and navigating how that event's going to play out. But it is looking like it's going to be our first premier signature event to help bring a solution to early recognition, suicide prevention. And then our events become the access point as we launch, and then we grow. See ya.